Mike Heck sold his only business, his one shot at climbing out of that hole, a ticket to a normal life with no debt and no more endless grinding at the dusty quarry. And you know what's wild? He didn't tell anyone. Not Frankie, not Axel, not Brick, even Sue, the whole reason he did it, found out completely by accident. Sue just blew the deadline for her financial aid. She literally didn't read the email, and her dream of going to college was dead. The family was living paycheck to paycheck, and they didn't have a single cent in savings. So Mike quietly went and sold his share of Lil Rivals, the diaper business he started with his brother. For Mike, this was a real shot at getting out, his retirement fund, his freedom, and he sold it without even blinking. And when Sue finally found out the truth and asked him in shock why he did it, he just said, "I want you to have a better life than me." I used to see Mike as just your classic quiet guy who sits on the couch, watches TV, and grumbles. You know, the standard sitcom dad who does nothing while the wife runs around the house with her hair on fire. But that's total nonsense. Mike is a whole different level of fatherhood, and the more I think about it, the more I get it. He might be the best dad ever shown on TV. I'm serious, not Phil Dunphy from Modern Family, not Hank Hill, not any of those guys everyone's supposed to love, but Mike Heck, the huge gruff guy in the flannel shirt who drives a beat-up 92 Mercury. What's up, Axel Gang? Today we're breaking down why this man is honestly the greatest dad in sitcom history. Let me start with one detail you probably never noticed. Mike has this habit of bringing Sue pretty rocks from the quarry. Sounds sweet, right? Dad brings his daughter a souvenir from work. But if you dig deeper, it's not really about the rocks at all. It's about the fact that Mike spends all day grinding away in a dusty pit, hauling limestone, dealing with problems with his crew of misfits, and somewhere in the middle of all that hell, he stops, sees a pretty rock, and thinks, "Oh, Sue would like this." A guy who once literally said, "My family isn't like yours with all the feelings and needs," is actually thinking about his daughter all day long. He just doesn't know how to say it. And remember the episode where he and Sue go on a college tour and they meet that hyperactive super dad who makes superhero pancakes for his kids? Mike really gets in his head about it. That night at the motel, he straight up asks his daughter if she wishes he was more like that perfect guy. And Sue answers in a way that gets you right in the throat. She lists everything he does for her. Pumps up her bike tires, puts her on his shoulders when he cleans the gutters. When mom's losing it, screaming, "I can't do this anymore," Dad quietly packs Sue's lunches for days in advance and brings her rocks from the quarry. She looks at him and says, "I don't need a peppy pancake, Dad. If you were that, you wouldn't be you." Sue is the brightest, most optimistic character in the show, and she's the first one who figured out how Mike shows love. Not through words, through actions. Through tiny little gestures most people don't even notice. Now let's go back to the diaper business and really think about what it meant to Mike. This was his one ray of hope in the entire series. He hates taking risks, he just grinds for 25 years for pennies. And then Rusty shows up with this wild idea about diapers with rival team logos. Mike gets it. This could blow up. He pours everything into it, his time, his brain, his pathetic little savings. This is his one shot at actually changing his life. And he gives it up, quietly, just so his daughter doesn't lose a year over an unread email. If you start counting how many times Mike sacrifices himself for his family, you'll lose track. Remember his secret pros and cons list about his marriage to Frankie? When she found it, she got really upset because the pros were super practical. Tax breaks, I'm pretty, likes the movie Reservoir Dogs. No romance at all. Viewers see this and think, ugh, what an unfeeling robot. But here's the thing, Mike isn't about poetry. Mike is about doing. When Brick does his nervous whoop tick at a basketball game and some jerk in the stands yells, "Shut your kid up," what happens? Mike, this giant introvert and social hermit, along with Frankie, starts loudly whooping all over the gym, claiming it's their family cheer. He publicly embarrasses himself by copying his son's tick just to shield him from humiliation. That's not just sweet, that's huge. Or the scene in the car with the song "Cats in the Cradle." Mike is trying to explain to Axel what the song means. It's about a dad who ignored his son's childhood, and then the son grew up just as cold. Mike starts reciting the lyrics, and he can't finish. He chokes up. This tough guy who never cries is straight up terrified of someday losing his connection with his son. And in the series finale, when Axel is finally moving out, Mike doesn't give some big tear-jerking speech. He pulls him aside and gives him his grandpa's old watch. The GPS coordinates of their house in Indiana are engraved on it. The message is brilliantly simple. Kid, you can go anywhere, but you'll always find your way home. This isn't a sitcom dad. This is a real-life dad. And you know where this rock-solid stoicism comes from? There's a scene in season 8 that literally knocks the wind out of you. Mike is driving Sue in the car. She's in tears, killing herself over typical teenage drama. And to pull her out of it, closed-off Mike suddenly decides to share the worst thing in his life. In a calm voice, he tells her about his mom dying. He was 14, lung cancer. And when young Mike was told his mom was gone, you know what his dad, Big Mike, did? He flatly said, "Your mom died. Go do your homework." That's it. No hugs, no talks. Just go do your homework. Mike tells this story like it's a dry fact. I got through it, and you'll get through this. No drama. He takes his biggest childhood trauma and uses it as a shield to comfort his daughter. But the most important thing here is that Mike is terrified of becoming his father. He's actively fighting it. Big Mike completely cut himself off from the world, becoming a hoarder whose motto was, "I don't want to be a bother." That's their family philosophy: don't show feelings, just tough it out. Mike's brother, Rusty, basically gave up on having a normal life. But Mike built impenetrable armor around his pain and went to work. Every single day. 25 years at the same quarry. And this is where everything clicks into place when you think about Brick. The weird youngest son who whispers to himself, reads books instead of playing football, and only hangs out with that strange girl, Cindy. At first, Mike didn't get him at all. He tried reading him basketball stats, he got frustrated, he was completely lost. How do you talk to this kid? But then it hit him. Brick is him, just smaller. He doesn't like crowds either. He obsesses over one thing too. Mike spent his whole adult life suppressing that weird side of himself, hiding it under a flannel shirt. And Brick is him without the social armor. Once he realized that, the dad started breaking his own patterns. Remember the moment with the fall leaves? Brick spent 11 days raking up a pile in the yard, got attached to it, and tearfully asked to set the leaves free. Any other dad would have called him crazy. But Mike sighs heavily, silently puts his son in the car, drives the bag to the woods, and they scatter the leaves in the wind together. He just accepts his son's logic. And the lawnmower race? Mike is in the neighborhood race. He loves doing this stuff. He's about to win one of those rare moments of pure dad bliss. And then Brick reminds him he has a presentation about his favorite book. Mike silently pulls off the track, gives up the win, and drives his son to the bookstore on the lawnmower. No yelling, no complaints. In season 9, he even goes with Brick to a sci-fi convention, Planet Nowhere, for the whole weekend. He hates crowds, he hates sci-fi, he sits there completely uncomfortable, but he sticks it out for his kid. And when they show a trailer in the theater for Brick's favorite book and the kid loses his mind with excitement, Mike looks at him and smiles warmly. The kind of smile he gives maybe once a year. Mike once said, "We could have had a normal kid, but then we wouldn't have Brick." That's real growth. The man literally rewired his whole personality for his kids. A whole other thing is Mike's little stashes. He carefully keeps the perfect ticket stub from Reservoir Dogs in his wallet. He's got a secret stash of AA batteries hidden from the family. In their chaotic house, personal batteries are the last act of independence. And when his coworker Jim caught him watching a video of a cat being friends with a rabbit, Mike panicked and shut it down. God forbid anyone find out the tough boss at the quarry is into cute animals, because all that stoic toughness is just a defensive mask. On the inside, Mike is soft. For years, he secretly fed a stray cat at the quarry, named him Limestone, buried him, and then took in another one, Granite. And this is a guy who refuses to dance and ignores doctors on principle. Sitcoms usually show us two extremes. Either an immature clown like Homer Simpson, who's constantly being saved by his wife, or a super modern best friend dad like Phil Dunphy, who talks through every feeling. Mike is neither. He's smart. He's capable. His wife isn't smarter than him. He just doesn't express emotions through words. This is a real working-class guy from middle America, the kind they rarely show honestly. The show started after the 2008 recession, when people were really living broke, with a falling-apart house and appliances held together with duct tape. Sue once saw her dad's paycheck and was shocked at how little he made. This guy carries everyone, fixes the breakdowns himself. For a while, they were literally washing dishes outside with a garden hose when the kitchen sink fell apart. And Mike never once whined. Never once said, "I can't do this anymore." He just kept working, and he's actually capable of being eloquent. At his brother's wedding, he gave a toast about how between the birth date and death date on a tombstone, there's a little dash. And that dash is your whole life. Mike said that thanks to his family, his dash will mean something. Everyone in the room was sobbing. He just saves up that emotional power and only uses it when there's no other way. Or that moment in season 9. Sue is heartbroken because Sean is leaving. Old Mike would have just hidden in the garage to stay out of trouble. But not this time. He sits down next to her and tells her, dead serious, that she's a catch. Anyone would be lucky to be with her. This is the same dad who once coldly told his daughter her odds of making cheerleader were 1,000,000 to 1. He learned to tell his kid what she needed to hear so she'd know her own worth. Because of all this, Mike isn't just some made-up character, he's those real-life quiet guys who come home, drink a beer in front of the TV and look like they're doing nothing. But really they're holding everything up, working 2 jobs, selling their dreams for their kids' education, and bringing home pretty rocks because they can't say, "I love you." And the creators put the most powerful punctuation mark on the finale, a flash forward. The Heck family didn't win the lottery. They didn't get new wallpaper or a new washing machine. Mike didn't turn into a romantic. Frankie didn't become some Zen guru. They stayed exactly the same. The kids just grew up. Sue is happily married to Sean. Brick became a writer. And Axel ended up moving back to Orson, married Lexi, and now has 3 boys who drive him crazy the same way he drove Mike crazy as a kid. They survived and they're thriving. And in the very last scene when Frankie is crying in the car about the kids leaving and life changing, Mike looks at the road and delivers his last line. That's the way it's supposed to be. They made it not because some miracle happened, but because Mike was the right foundation the whole time. That same pillar of the community he once called himself. When people panic, they look to the tall ones, he said. And Mike really did see his role exactly that way, standing like a lighthouse, not shining too bright, not drawing attention, just standing rock solid and not letting the ship crash into the rocks. So when I hear people say Phil Dunphy or Hank Hill are the best sitcom dads, I just smile. Mike Heck isn't trying to be his kid's best friend. He's trying to be the one you can lean on when the world falls apart, and that's so much deeper. Every grunt, every weird gesture, every awkward move, it's all love translated into the language of hard work. He's the best dad in TV history, and I'll defend that to the end. If you're looking at this gruff dad in the flannel shirt and seeing who he really was, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel.